It's showtime. It's showtime. It's showtime. Hey. It is 6 p.m. Pacific as a slew of, I always want to call them doves, a slew of pigeons go by. These beautiful, great pigeons. Pigeons or dove are practically the same things, as pigeons are bigger. I mean, that's basically what we got going on there. It is the 10th of May. We're just about at the halfway mark, basically, halfway mark of our May Stargate. And I'm coming to you live. This is my second episode of, excuse me, of the We Are Healing live podcast. And just to let you all know, you're coming, I'm streaming live to Facebook and YouTube, my dedicated YouTube channel. And I was guided today to get on X for the podcast. I was on X a while. I mean, it was Twitter. And it just it was during the pandemic. It was a bit much. But it was one of the places to be and get information, and it was a very interesting time. But I haven't been on that platform since. But today learned that you can now have podcasts on I want to call it Twitter, on X. That messes me up. I'm going to try to say it right. On X. And so anyway, I'm going to put in the chat here. Hello, Fabian. Hi. And anybody else, who else is here? Let me know that you're here by commenting. I sent you an email, Fabian, earlier today. Hopefully you got that. Hopefully that's why you're here. Yeah, I meant to do another post on Medium about the podcast being today. And Ian. No, I was talking to Fabian. Oh, is that you? Are you in both places? Yeah, that's you. That's you. How funny. So cool you're here. But I have a dedicated YouTube channel, my Facebook page that I'm streaming to as well, and then now X. And I just put the link in the chat. For those of you who are on X, formerly known as Twitter, follow me there as well. I am brand new as of a couple hours ago to it. You could tell by my profile, but it's really for the podcast. What came through was this is a good way to get exposure to the podcast and have a whole new platform, just, healing podcast related. So I'm super stoked on this new forum specifically for the podcast. So I want to say again, thank you to everybody who's here. I think I'm seeing 6 people total right now. So welcome everybody. Again, Friday, May 10th. It's been a really wild and interesting day today. We have these big coronal mass ejections, solar flares over the last several days, all culminating in this massive geomagnetic storm that's hit overnight. I've posted some, reposted or shared some posts and showing pictures. They're all this super, super violet. And I channeled about that a couple days ago, how there's going to be the ultra UV light coming, that's coming through starting now. You can go back in my feed on Facebook to find it. I believe it was an angel message. That's how it came through. But anyway, I've been doing a shit ton of channeling lately. You could just see by my Facebook. And if you really want to follow and know what's going on with things in the cosmic weather, I highly suggest you follow me on Facebook because that's where I update all the time. And if time permits, or if I'm really guided specifically to do Medium, I will. But it's just a lot more time consuming. I mean, I just haven't figured out a way to do that on top of as things are going really, really quickly. So for whoever's here, please let me know by saying hello in the chats on whatever channel you might be on. Again, this is the second episode of the We Are Healing live podcast. And what's really cool about the live podcast is that I can speak to what's going on currently. And because here we are all together right now at the same time. Please share with me if you've been having the feels with this energy that started coming through about noon today, Pacific. I'm not, so that would be 3 p.m. Eastern. And I don't know, I think UTC is 8 hours before that. So I guess that would be, or ahead of that. So I guess that would be 8 p.m. UTC. Look who's early. I wasn't sure if I should wait until 9:15. 9:15. Oh, for this? Oh, yeah, typically I will be on time for the podcast. Something is really off kilter. When I go live for Oracle stuff and that's really spontaneous, sometimes I'm gonna end up being late. But yeah, I'm pretty much an on-time person for my lives, especially because people are waiting for me. Sometimes I can't avoid it, and I will usually put a message out that I'm going to be running late, so people aren't just sitting there waiting for me. So, but generally speaking, I am on time, especially for things like this. But it's good to see you, Jason. Who else is here? Happy Friday. And there's so many energies that are coming through. So, this is I want to keep this brief, but it's a very, very energetically intense time. A lot of ascension energies coming through really, really intensely. We've channeled about this recently, and this is a real drive from the light, our divine counterparts, and all the workings that have to do with this whole thing that's in play. With the light and the dark and ascension and all of these thresholds and gateways and what happens during them. Fear programs getting injected in by the dark side. The light is working with these intense ascension energies from the sun. Gaia is catching them. We're feeling them as they go on. It's connecting to the abundance matrix. It's shifting timelines. But there's this, it came through very, very clearly and intensely that this period right now during this May Stargate is going to be very intense. We talked about this before the Stargate. And I said it will be the most intense one that we've had so far. This is the kickoff to the rest of the year when things really start to get going with our paradigm shift in June with the June summer solstice. Mark my words, mark your calendar. This is going to be a thing, and it's going to, and we're shifting things now. In different ways, things are being eliminated from our timelines that do not resonate. And I love it. I love this energy because it's real. Hi, Michelle. I'm going through a twin flame union at the moment. Oh, fun. Those are very rare. Just so you know, they're practically non-existent. Most people confuse them with soulmate unions, just FYI. I suggest you reading my article on, it's like the truth about soulmates and twin flames, the ultimate guide, blah, 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 on my Medium from a couple years ago, probably to 2021, I think. Because literally everybody that I ever have done that analysis for, none of them are twin flames. They're all soulmates. This twin flame thing is kind of a farce, except for very rare situations. So anyway, just so you know, don't mean to pop your bubble, but it's a dark side constructed story to keep people very, very tied up in shit they shouldn't be. So it's a problem. It can be a problem. Hey, Kat from Spain. Hello, Philippe. Cassette. Hello, everybody. Happy Friday and all of these energies. I'm so stoked that you guys are here. Thank you guys all for being part of my group on Facebook. And if you're not part of my group on Facebook, go be part of my group on Facebook. The link is in the description of this live, so I'm not going to get distracted with finding it. I remember who he was in a past life. Yeah, that's a soulmate thing. That is classic soulmate. Trust me. Yeah, we have lots of soulmates that we reunite with. Yeah, definitely. Oh, my ears are popping. Where was I? So yes, the Facebook group. Thank you for being part of the Facebook group. I want this to be a real community where people that watch the podcast can interact with each other. You know, we're here live. That's like one of the great things about when I was so stoked about doing this live podcast was that we can we can interact live. We can ask questions. When I have guests on eventually, I'm not guided just yet to start scheduling, but if you want to be on my podcast, if you're a healer, if you have experienced profound healing, either on your own or with a healer, if you're somebody that's just getting into this wooey holistic healing stuff, and specifically, my forte is quantum energy healing, divine connections and soul connections, and working with guides and guardians in the highest levels. I am a divine archangel incarnate. So I have connections to all the great, beautiful, divine things. I've done miraculous healings on myself through that guidance and for other people. And it's magical and beautiful and what we're meant to be using in our lives. So we're not in pain. We're not limited by our life force. And we can ascend, because if we are in distress mentally, physically, emotionally, energetically, and of course spiritually, we're not going to ascend. We're not going to be on our highest timelines. We're not going to be as magical as we can possibly be as divine incarnates. It's just not going to happen. I mean, just think about it. If you have this hot air balloon, I love this vision that I get with hot air balloons. Imagine you're a hot air balloon and you have the capacity for all this heat and gas and, you know, bring you up and you know, pull you up into the sky or lift you up into the sky, however that works. And, but then there's all these sandbags, super duper heavy, and they're weighing you down. And this is stress. This is worry. This is fears. This is insecurities, judgment, shame, old wounds, cords to people, places, things, experiences, addictions, traumas that are heavy. And we're literally like bound from being able to ascend. Now, I'm not saying that ascension is easy, because it's not. It takes work to get this heaviness off of us. To some degree, we need to make an effort. And in the realm of magic, intent is everything. You may sit there wishing to feel better, but if there aren't moves made to do so in a really real way, and you're not when people really want answers and to shift and to change, and they put that out there, like, fuck this. I don't want to be in pain anymore. I don't want to have this chronic illness anymore. There's got to be something. Or if you're pushed, like, figure it out. There's a reason for that. I believe that with my whole heart, because literally every single one of my clients that were chronically in pain and with chronic conditions, when they came to me and were like, it's you or I'm finding a bridge, no joke. And I've been there. So I'm like, oh, well, I'm glad I know I can help you, because that, but I'm glad that, that's not an option, and we are going to help you. And it really is what happens. So I am ultra motivated now more than ever to bring these stories, my own stories of healing myself, of healing. I have plenty of them because I've gone through a lot of different experiences with healing since my activation and awakening and this whole thing going on. But also my clients, I have stories for days about different clients over the last several years. And then there's going to be stories from other healers. So I encourage anybody watching, or if you've been to a healer, and it's really any type of holistic healing modality, whether it's plant medicine or energy healing or Reiki or whatever. If it really was profound, if it really, shifted things for you, and it kind of started different things, or you were really taken from point A to point B, whether it was one event or a series of events, a journey of healing. Because I personally, with my clients, I have kind of different things there with people. Because I do what I do in different ways. I do one-off sessions. I have groups. I have long-term plans. With me, I could do bulk things. So there's all these different ways that I work with people. But in any event, this is a space where I want people to be able to open up and share and come to just a safe place to discuss healing on all levels, because that is, oh, hi, Karen. That is part of the deal. I'm not sharing any of these. I'm so bad at this. I always forget that. Ian, so glad to be here. Me too. I'm glad you're here. I'm squinting because my eyes are a little tweaked right now. And then Karen is here. Hi, Karen. Welcome. So without further ado, I want to get into the topic at hand. And thanks again for everybody being here. And the topic is why and how negative energy causes chronic conditions and illness and disease. And I kind of got into it a little bit. I said, if we have negative energy, we're going to be weighed down. We're not going to be able to, ascend. But before we can even think about those things, we have to think about and consider just normal function. And that's how, it works with people that, work with me. They come, the last thing that they're, being able to do properly is ascend and connect and really do a spiritual awakening when they're in such distress, physically and energetically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, all the things. But once that is rectified, it's all about then like getting used to this new healthy body. And so when we consider what gets us so sick to begin with, it's like, I know for myself, there weren't a whole lot of answers as to what was wrong with me. It was a lot of guessing until I finally had the diagnosis of fibromyalgia. And I tell this whole story in my first episode last week, so you can watch the replay on that. I'm not going to get into that here again the very next week, but there was always questions as to what was wrong with me. Nobody really understood what was wrong with me. Very specifically, that type of condition is so blatantly energetic. But when we think about things like cancer, and other issues that, from anything neurological, autoimmune, like, there's so many different things and ways that we can have issues in our body. It all boils down to the same thing. We accumulate negative energy from life and circumstances, from other people, from our cords. Now, energy cords are a very important thing to understand, and we're corded to our web of life energetically. This is how we can connect with each other and our divine counterparts and feeling. That's our intuition. We've got this whole thing going on that's invisible. We have, through our connections with people that are alive with us, we have energetic cords that go to and from each other, like a phone line, a data line, sharing and going back and forth constantly. Now, not every cord and every relationship has the same type, is the same strength of cord or whatever. Some are a lot, bigger and more active. Some are more passive or whatever, but every cord that we have is sending and receiving energy, positive or negative, however you want to see that. But most importantly, it is using life force energy to have these cord. Every single cord is depleting. So just imagine you have a battery bank and you have a shit ton of cords that is, you like powering other things and using power. All of those cords are using this battery's power to sustain these connections. It doesn't matter, it really doesn't matter necessarily, if you have a cord with your, parent that you're very close to, your child, mother child cords are extremely strong. Typically, cords with any spouse or lover, cords with your neighbors, cords with your animals, cords with the people at work. You name it, there's cords when you are intermingling and in groups of people. So we'll have these multiple clusters of cords, and cords never ever just turn off because of time and distance, or because you break up with somebody. You go, okay, now we broke up and so our cord ceases to exist. It just is not how that works. And that's also what makes it difficult to move on from situations. And we stay in really messed up state of, being and emotions, because we're sending these energies back and forth with people that we, are supposed to be disconnected from, and we're truly not. And time has nothing to do with it. Whether it's 4 months or 4 years or 4 decades, cords are cords. Now, do some of them just not exist? They're just gone because there's no charge to them whatsoever? Yeah, definitely. Not every single connection that you've ever had remains, and blah, 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 blah. If there's nothing connecting them after a while, they will just, that energy will go elsewhere. but for a good amount of them, depending on a lot of variables, they will stay, and they need to be worked on. So by the way, with that, I have my Evolve Now program. Sorry, that's a whole other thing. That's a one-on-one thing with me. The Unstoppable Empath course and membership. It's a group membership. I teach you how to work with your cords. It's a very short course. It's only 3 modules. You can get through literally in a week and start working with your energy cords. I do weekly meetings with the group. And now I didn't even announce this yet, but now I have this group on starting on the 23rd. We're going to do every other week from 12 o'clock p.m. Pacific, 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific, every other week to accommodate the growing group. And it's only $35 a month. It's a super duper steal of a deal of a group. I highly suggest checking that out on my website, and it's also on my Facebook page. So anyhow, so we have things like cords, we have traumas, we have things called PTSD. PTSD is literally a living charge of a traumatic event that the body feels as though it's happening right now. Again, that's a cord. But we have relationships that we've had that there's wounds, whether it's family or romantic relationships. We have environmental stressors as well. So we have like a whole lot of reasons why we'll build up negative energy, and our bodies will do its best to release that. And that's what's called a spontaneous detox. That's when you get a cold or a flu, and it's not a bacteria, it's not a foreign thing. They call it virus in a lot of these cases. You can't even take antibiotics for them. It's literally the body's reaction to wanting to have a clear energy field and higher life force. It will get to a breaking point and want release. And this is why we'll get that release in the head, in the throat, in the chest, in the stomach, in the butts. All of these are energy centers, and the body just kind of says, look, if you're not going to consciously keep yourself free and clear of negative energy, then we are going to do our best to offload manually. So it's referred to as a spontaneous detox. But even those will not, fully keep a person from going over the edge. Hey, Adrian, going over the edge in being overloaded. And that's when we get more chronic illnesses and conditions and diseases, because the system is overloaded with negative energy from a different multitude of reasons. So truly the name of the game would be understand where all of these sources of negative energy have been building up over time, and eliminate and clear. Now that, like I said earlier, this takes a lot of different ways of going about it. There's never one solution to a multi-layered problem or problems. You need to come at it from different angles. And that's how people get cured of their chronic situations with me, because we do it in that way. But of course, ideally is that we wouldn't get to be in that position in the first place. But in our society, the way things have gone and the way things are is very corrupted. It's very dark side controlled. And truly, if we were to take care of ourselves in a way that we should or could, there would not be these diseases. And I'm not saying that there aren't like environmental factors too, and certain types of poisonings that occur. But even with those things, when we have a more efficient, energetic body and we're healthier, we are able to fight those things off as well. Not only that, but as we get healthier and healthier, as our vibration goes higher and higher, because we're healing, we're clearing, we're connecting, we're living higher and higher timelines, we are, that's when we get into like the kind of the reverse aging process, because not only are we not depleted in our life force, we're overflowing with our life force. When that happens, then the energy goes to not only getting organs and muscles and tendons and joints all working and super duper healthy, but our skin, like I look younger today than I did 10, 15 years ago, because of the difference in everything in my life, but in life force being super, super high vibration. So not only can one go from chronically ill, super in pain, on tons of medication, totally dysfunctional in life, not able to really live and thrive in life, but to being somebody who gets so healthy that everything is running at such tip-top shape. They're not on any kind of medication. Their life force is great all the time. Not only that, they start looking so much younger. Things are so much more in alignment. This type of big swing is absolutely possible. I've seen it for myself and several other people that I have worked with. So that's the framework where I come from. That's the level that I work at, because that was my experience for myself. And then I was guided to learn how to and duplicate that experience for other people. So I know this as fact. And even though there's so many different types of ways that so many different things that are part of all of that, and it's just understanding the different components in nature to use to our benefit, to use as our medicine. That's where the plant medicine comes in, the holistic, more of the, crystals and flower essence and essential oils, and of course, energy work, and just all sorts of different ways that we can use, work with nature, work with the energy of nature, deeply connect with Gaia, work with our guides and guardians to heal ourselves, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, energetically. And it requires a lot of openness and bringing things in, and being led in different directions through this. Ian says, we've got love from Adrian. Ian says, very fascinating. Thank you. I think it's very fascinating as well. It's something I'm extremely passionate about, people understanding more and more, and especially this empath aspect of it, the difference, the spectrum of empaths that there are. I'm a psychic physical empath, so I'm off the chart empath. I feel in my body what other people feel, exactly how they feel it. Which for the bulk of my life really sucked. Because I didn't know that's what was going on. I explained that in the first episode. But anyhow, and then more typical empath is not that, does not feel in their body literally, but is the empath is more empathic nature of most empaths is the awareness and the understanding, the real like mirroring of emotions. Other people feel like we're so open to the feelings of others, and just this light bodiness of us, that also kind of opens us up for a lot of negative energy to come through, and we can be very absorbent instead of just being aware. A lot of empaths don't know what's going on with them energetically. So many empaths are the ones that get these illnesses, these chronic conditions like fatigue and fibromyalgia, things even like MS. These overload of energy tends to trip up the wiring. Literally, it's energy. It's, you have to think about it like an electrical system, and then the body just responds accordingly. So back to, it really doesn't matter what it is necessarily that a person has. It's more about how did they get there, because the bottom line is the fill in the blank part is energy. So what is the energy about? Where is it at? What's connected? And then that's the whole other thing that we have to contend with are parasites, are energetic parasites that connect to a lot of people. And that is a whole other thing that obviously modern medicine is just not equipped to understand. That affect people mentally, emotionally, physically, energetically, and spiritually, and really does take somebody like me to see and understand and be able to work with and deal with these types of things. If a person is conscious enough to deal with that and be guided to that sort of healing. A lot of people with parasites are completely just not, their parasites would never allow that. I don't know how to explain that. They're just not, would not happen. Some people don't have, are able to kind of break through certain parasites and still have some real connection to their divine counterparts and be led to somebody like me or me. But it's quite the battle dealing with that. So and like I said, this is not something that, modern medicine would know. Like I have a couple clients that if they were to talk to, and when they have talked to therapists, psychologists, counselors, whatever, it's a matter of mental illness, when in fact it's absolutely not. It's a matter of them being a host for a parasite or multiple parasites, and them not being able to control a lot of what goes on with them. And that shit is absolutely real. Absolutely real. So there's a lot of different ways that, and those things, let me just back up a little bit. Those parasites are solely to create and cultivate negative energy from the host and the people around the host, or the animals or the children around the host, to create any type of, usually fear is preferred. It is the most potent of negative energies. And that's why so many people are in fear. That's why, because of these fear-based programs that are part of the material matrix, people are afraid of their own, health, and on all these different levels. Awareness is great, but there is so much fear on so many levels, and all of those fears are negative energy that is part of us. So every single fear you have, every single anxiety, every single bit of shame or judgment or regret for yourself or anything, or any, all of, pain and resentment and anger and But if we just focus on fear, fear's connected to so much. There's the money stuff, there's the health stuff, there's the security stuff, the survival stuff, the global stuff, there's so many ways fears are massive within each of us until we see them for what they are and start to eliminate them. And that takes true and a lot of focused work to do so. But if we remember that each fear lends to the disharmony within us, and whatever that fear is connected to, the matrix of fear, and what one thing will pop off and another thing and another thing and another thing. We have what ifs going. I call them the what if circus. People spend so much time in the what ifs, projections and illusions that do not exist. That's part of the fear programming. I could spend probably the next 4 episodes of this podcast talking about this specifically and really trying to drive home just how this is all such a huge, big deal. Just the fears. If you decided I'm going to work on my fears and started paying attention to what stresses you out and gives you anxiety and makes you worry and puts you in fear and how it winds around and back and forth and how many times you're having these reactions and triggers and projections and the what ifs throughout one day and then 1 week and then 1 month, it would shock the shit out of you, the volume that you have. We're just accustomed to it because we've always been in it. And the world justifies it because most people have the same fears in, maybe a little different ways, right? There's these structured stories and programs that tell us to be afraid when there's nothing to be afraid of when we're afraid. And that happens again and again and again. And this causes the negative energy within us. And then because of what we're stressing about and fearing about, we're creating that energy in our timelines to experience it on one level or another, because that's what we're focusing in on. So the story in the end supports the imaginal projection, further making it stronger within us. And this perpetuates and perpetuates and perpetuates. I mean, wow, right? I'm going to check in here. Ian says, I have a friend who is a hard drug user and I feel he might be creating that negative energy. Absolutely. There's a good chance he has a parasite that is helping with that. Because humans without parasites don't have that problem. There's a certain set of parasites that their sole function is to have an addict. I just did a healing on somebody last night who was a hardcore addict. She actually was able to break from that one addiction, still has other ones, but break from that really, really hardcore one. The parasite was still active. I had never quite seen anything like it. It was very interesting. And literally just last night. And instead of it just shifted, but it was still totally intertwined with her. And again, I will say, unless somebody has a parasite that is driving this out of control, right? What is an addiction? At that level, it's being out of control. And they will even say, I'm out of control. I can't control myself. I want this, but it wants that. I mean, it is another thing that is driving that need. It's not, people don't have that on their own. Okay, that's very important to understand. Jeffrey, hello. Chris says, and anxiety disorders are so common. Exactly. Hello, Jeffrey. Your mind creates your reality. Yes. Yeah. So it's really important. Like every micro moment, we're creating our reality. So if we're spending most of our moments in fear, in anxiety on some level, we're creating timelines that are supporting. So it's like, what came first, chicken or the egg here? We need to break the cycle. That's why what comes through me, our divine counterparts, the high council, is all about fears and illusions and programs and negative energy and eliminating of these things and disconnecting cords. If you just look through what I offer and what I channel, there's a very, very consistent and cohesive theme here. It's about what's going on in the energetic weather and spiritual climate, if you will, like all of these solar flares and the Schumann resonance, what's going on with Gaia's frequency. I talk about those things because they matter to us. They affect us. We're meant to be affected by them. They're meant to help us eliminate this shit, to shake us awake and help us to see and to have action and be connected to our guidance, to motivate us, to inspire us, to extract and what I call excavate ourselves, to get as close to our soul as we possibly can so we can embody. It's just like one step, repeat again and again and again. And it is so important that we understand this as a people, as a society. But it just is what it is, that the material matrix is, and all the systems that are in play are meant to keep us limited and asleep and out of control and dependent in a lot of ways. And they don't aim to fix problems, to cure, because healthy people have zero to add to their profit margin, right? I mean, when I was healed, my magical healing, I never took another pill, never went to the doctor again. I've not had medical insurance in 12 years. Like I'm not putting any money into that like I did for so long. I was chronically ill. I mean, I was in it. So there's no incentive for the system to rid our food of shit that helps keep us addicted to bad things for us. There's no incentive to extrapolate fear-based programs and, in the news and actual programs and, TV and movie and stuff that are fear-based, that do inject stories and things into the collective to keep people in fear, even if they're supposed to be fictional. These are injected stories and pharmaceuticals, many of them cause more problems than they fix. And there's a need for more and more. And they don't make the issues go away. So there is this thing called alternative medicine, holistic healing. It's apart from all of that. And it's about getting back to the basics of what the F is going on to begin with. Like, if there's a problem, why is there a problem? Not, we have a problem and let's just deal with the symptoms of the problem. That's never fixing the problem. But the problem is elusive and it's invisible. It's called energy, and it comes in various forms. And again, it's invisible. I mean, from the time I was a baby to when I was, 40, I can't even tell you. Well, until I got Hashimoto's, because it got that bad, it tripped up. But before that, I mean, all my life, there was all of these things that I would experience, and none of the diagnostics gave an answer or a positive, which would be a negative, but a positive. It was always like, no. And it was like, then why is my body doing what it's doing? And there's zero answer to that question. And then they look at you like, well, maybe you're just crazy. Maybe it's not actually happening. So then it's completely like blown to bits. Then it's like, oh, I'm the nutso for feeling what I feel. And so many empaths go through that as well. It's like, is there something wrong with? Yes, there's something wrong. It's that nobody understands what is going on. Yes, they manage the symptoms at best. Exactly. You had that. Jeffrey says, I had that too. Which did you have? What did you have? Tell me what you had. So anyhow, all of these reasons, this is the why and the how. Negative energy causes chronic pain and illness and situations where you shouldn't be addicted. You shouldn't be in chronic pain. You shouldn't have out of whack systems. And if you do, why do you? What's going on exactly? Let's figure it out. That should be how it works. And I am the type, I can, once connected, things come through as a psychic physical empath and medical medium, archangelic incarnate, divine connector, and just, it comes through. There's a light body. What is wrong with the light body? Here's what's wrong with the light body. This is what we need to do to fix light body. Like I said, I can make that sound a little bit more simple than, maybe the whole process is. But to me, if we're dealing with somebody in their 30s, 40s, 50s, you have a few decades under your belt, 60s, whatever, and, maybe you haven't been dealing with all this your whole life, but no matter what it is, it's like, it could be years, or, you're looking at years, more years of it. And when we break it down to a short amount of time to a few months or a year to, get that sorted, to not accept, well, this is just the way it's going to be the rest of my life. And be like, consent to being so limited in what you can, the potential of you, your true potential, your highest, most people have no idea what it's like to have an overflowing life force. No idea. And you cannot tell by just looking at somebody what's going on there with their life force, because looks, my friends, can be very, very deceiving. Very deceiving. Hashimoto's got it. Gabriella, hello. I love your spirit. Oh, thank you, honey. Thank you so much. Well, I am supercharged about this stuff. I've been in this myself first for my whole life, not understanding and experiencing a lot. and then going through a lot as far as divine awareness and connections and healing myself, and then being guided to help other people and learning so much every single day. I continue to learn every single day. The last thing that I ever want to project is this like I know it all. I don't know it all. I know a lot. I know a lot more than most people, but I don't know it all. I'm still figuring it out. There's experience that needs to happen. You know, there's things that we can be told even by the highest of beings. But I found that a lot of the time they want to give us, you know, just enough to help us figure it out for ourselves, to put the things together. And the longer you're around me or work with me, whether in group or one-on-one, you'll see how that works, because I'm not omnipotent. I don't know everything. I'm getting information and sorting it out and doing what I'm guided to do, and message and provide and offer and all of the things. But I'm passionate about the magic, because I've experienced so much magic. I'm connected to so much magic, so many things and so many beings and so many realms and so many worlds and so many dimensions and so many incarnations, and all of this happening at the same time, connecting with my soul family now and here, and everything that has led me to this time period, to this day, May 10th, 2024. This amazing energy coming through, me being guided to do this live podcast, all about healing, holistic healing, changing everything, flipping everything on its head, getting people and helping people to share and spread the message of how things don't need to be what we were always, you know, told that they were, whether about us or the collective and everything else that's going on. There's so much that is coming up and to the surface to help with this and to help people understand. And that's just my passion. I'm addicted to helping people, to helping to heal people, to set people straight on their timelines of, you know, their highest possible timelines. That helps everybody. As we heal one, we heal all. And it's all significant. Every time somebody heals a deep wound in this incarnation, they heal all of their incarnations at the same time. And they're co-current. They're not past. It's just our understanding of time and reality and lives. And we heal each other here. That vibration of wound being transmuted, whatever that it is, of the energy being transmuted, of a parasite being extracted and transmuted. The one from yesterday, it was the body of a cantaloupe, and it had over 200 feet of cords in this woman. And by the time Archangel Raphael was done extracting it, and it was, it took a bit. And that was more for the person than for the parasite. It's just so the body can, have this taken out and not be in so much distress. He numbed her out anyway. It's this whole numbing thing that he does when we're working with people. It's really fascinating. But at the end, it was like the size of a pinto bean. There was it's fascinating. All of these things that nobody can see, but really do exist and do affect us. And to flip that around I'm definitely addicted to it. And to spreading the word about all these things, not to scare people. I know talking about parasites is not God damn. If you were to ask me 15 years ago or tell me, you're going to be like doing a live podcast one day talking about parasites and how they're attached to people, I would just be like, you're nuts, man. But here I am, because that's what's going on and that's what's real. And I get it that it's just we don't want it to be real. I mean, that's another thing to contend with when it comes to these things. The parasites themselves don't want you to know that they're there. It's the greatest Trojan horse ever. Think about it. That's their greatest weapon, is that 99.99999% of people cannot see them, don't know that they're there, or anything about them. Period. That is their greatest asset. Their greatest weapon is invisibility and ignorance. And for the people who do get some information about this, most of them reject it because the idea freaks people out. They don't want it to be true. And then the dark side helps to support that it's not true. And anybody like me talking about it is a fucking quack. Here's this woman talking about being an archangel and doing crazy healing and parasites. And, you know what I mean? People could say that very easily. The problem is that it's true. And for the people who have experienced it firsthand, they know it's true. And for the people around them, know it's true. Or they go, oh, is that what it is? Oh, it all makes sense now that it's this other thing, that this person shifts from one thing to another thing in all the different ways that can happen. Jeffrey says, I struggle also describing how I see energy as a colorless blur. Yeah, there are some of these things that are difficult to describe for sure. Gabriella says, yes, love it. I know I have some type of block, maybe some type of entity, but I was with a narcissist for a very long time. He has a parasite, right? They have the puppet master parasite. Because being with him drained all my energy to a point I stayed inside a dark room for 3 years. Oh, geez. Yeah, yeah. And he had convinced me that it was my fault. Ha ha. She writes, which probably it was, but I had a hard time releasing him. Well, yeah, because thank you for sharing that, sweetheart. Yeah, because the narcissist has the puppet master parasite. That's what we have called them. Let me get you my video. Oh, actually just posted it on my Facebook page. Are you on Facebook? My dear. Yeah, you're on Facebook. If you go to my Facebook page, just from earlier today, I posted my video, The Truth About Empaths and Narcissists, and I talk all about, sorry, I'll leave that up there for a little bit. I talked all about, or this video is all about what a narcissist is, what a puppet, this parasite is, and it's very specific. And I highly encourage everybody to watch that video. It's from a couple years ago. It's a recorded video. I much rather do lives, and you'll see it's weird for me to do a recording. I should probably do a new one. It even has my old website on it. But anyway, that's the video. I haven't really, it's kind of been there like, oh, maybe create a new one, but it hasn't really do it. So, but it's all the same information. I really, really highly suggest that you watch that to really, truly understand what is in play there with narcissists and why it's imperative to get away from them ASAP. Okay, this is a huge topic of conversation in our Unstoppable Empath group yesterday. Who do we have here? Nefobata? Hello, and yes, I've seen these parasites. It's eerie. Yeah, and they're several different types. Some of them are basic. Some of them are very, very, very sophisticated. I have a client who I'm going to just give you a little sliver of her story. But I have a client who was sexually assaulted. And an attachment came in that way. And it is very, very sophisticated, and literally with the way it's connected with the dark side and certain moments when the veil is thin and portals will take her in and out of timelines. And that was an amazing thing to discover. So very sophisticated. Yeah, some serious shit there. Yes, I think I watched the video today. Oh, good. You did my free reading last time on your YouTube. Oh, okay. Last time when? How long ago has it been? Yeah, how long ago has that been? But cool. I love doing readings. So any questions about what I've talked about so far in about an hour? I can't believe an hour's already been, we've already been here for an hour. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Any questions, any other comments? Hello to everybody who's here. I appreciate you for being here. Say hello if you haven't already. I'll be happy to answer any questions about negative energy and transmuting it or parasites or anything like that. Jeffrey says, I would like a reading, please. Oh, I'm not doing readings today. This is not a reading day. This is my podcast. And that's not to say that I might not do readings and set up a very specific podcast, but that's not what the We Are Healing podcast is generally about. I will do other lives that are just for reading, and you'll see that in the title. So yeah, I'm not doing readings, but make sure that you stay following me, and yeah, most of those are kind of pop up. I'll know the day of, maybe sometimes ahead of time. I will announce those. I have limited space for those because I do spend a good amount of time with people. So just stay tuned for when we might be doing that next. But yeah, I'm not doing that today. Sorry. Any other questions about this business of what causes illness and chronic conditions, and how it's so important to take care of negative energy? Let's see here. How do you disconnect from a narcissist, and how do you cut cords? Very good question. That's what my course is all about. Narcissist. Yeah, I understood. That is what my course, The Unstoppable Empath, is all about. Have you taken a look at that yet? There's a whole process to it. There's a right way and a wrong way. And first thing to understand is you have to do this work for yourself. It's like eating, sleeping, or doing exercise. I could walk you through live the whole process, but you need to repeat that process again and again and again to really clear yourself out of from all the cords that you need. And most people need to disconnect from at least 6 to 8 to 10 and reset as many as the same, or more, depending on what's going on. So it's a regimen, but there is a whole process to it. But essentially it is the way that I teach it for you, and the way that anybody would kind of bring that through. It is it's called a self-healing channeled astral spirit walk. That's where you go into, it's basically astral travel to a place called the Healing Temple, and you work with yourself and your energy to disconnect, and I walk you through the entire thing. So I highly suggest that you look at that course and membership. Let me give you the the link to look that up. And we just signed up, I think, I thought it was 5, but I was wrong. It was, I got confused with the payment from somebody. It was really funny. But anyway, in the last like week and a half, we've had 4 new people in the group. It has a dedicated Facebook group. It has weekly meetings alternating from 12 p.m. Pacific to 6 p.m. Pacific. So I can accommodate as many people as possible, starting in a couple weeks. And it is super, super valuable. It's only $35 a month. And you get other energy work stuff too. You work with archetypes and to understand the story of these connections. So it's not just cut cords with this person. It's understand why this person and the symbology there, the archetype, not just narcissist, but other things that could be, or whoever that it is. It's not just for narcissists. You need to cut cords with a lot of other people and reset cords with a lot and refine what energy is going out. Everybody has way too many cycling. And if you just take care of that and work on your energy cords, and it does take, you could do like two to maximum 3 cord workings a month. So it does take several months to get through the whole thing, but each one is shifting and changing and adding life force and shifting your awareness, and you're, moving and healing and shifting and doing shadow work and all this stuff through it. So it's not like it takes 6 months and then you feel better. You feel a shift every single time you do one of these things. And anyway, that, website link takes you to all the information at the very top. There's 2 webinars that I did about this, all of this stuff with cords and the group and everything. The only thing that may be different that I talk about is the timing. When we first started the group, it was at 5 p.m. Pacific. Then I had Brits sign up and couldn't come at 5 p.m. So then I switched it to 12 p.m. And now I've recently had more people come in that 12 p.m. isn't good for them. So I've created now 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. alternating weeks to try to accommodate everybody. But other than that, it is what it is. I did the course live. So every module that we go through is me basically doing this with the people who signed up at the very, very beginning. And I walk them through it. So you get the course, every single video that was, in replay, you get the Facebook group, and you get the weekly meetings. So I highly suggest everybody to look into that, because it's critical for everybody. Super, super critical work to be done. And it's very important how it's done and that you're guided through it, because there's plenty of like just one-off cord cutting meditations on YouTube. 99% of them are the wrong thing to do. They work with like scissors and swords and knives to cut cords, and it's absolutely not what you need to do. And there's a whole regimen that needs to happen before, during, and after this process for this process to be done correctly. So, and most people don't understand that. So anyway, there's that. Any other questions, everybody? Anything else? I'm not being guided to, let's see. I think I've gone through most of what I was guided to talk about here and kind of bring up as far as negative energy and the different ways we can store and absorb negative energy and how it can affect us emotionally and physically. Whether we do have chronic conditions that are mental, that are energetic, that are emotional, that are physical, or all of the above, and encompasses spiritual problems and disconnect and all of these things. All of our bodies and all of our energy centers work together. And when things are out of balance and disconnected and ungrounded and out of whack and out of alignment, that's when we have all the disharmony going on, pains, just things that don't feel good, headaches, stomach aches, joint pain, brain fog, whatever, skin issues, all these different things. So I hope that I've motivated you to think about this stuff for yourself. Please reach out to me directly if you'd like to work with me. My website is in the description here. It's infiniteempath.com. More about me and my story, my miraculous healing, and what I've done since then, and all the different things that I offer. Oh, and one more thing that I'm being guided to remind everybody about, or to tell you about, is starting in June is my Soul Quest program. I channeled this program last year. It is a major game changer for understanding yourself on the deepest of levels. It's an 8-week or 8-map program where it's basically a set of questions and assessments that you go over for yourself for your spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, energetic, and abundant bodies, 1 map per week. And there's a spirit walk that is connected to it, an introduction video. There is a private group as well, weekly meetings with me as well. And like I said, it's a game changer. It's not so much doing the shadow work, although a little bit comes up. It's more about knowing what shadow work to do. So at the end, and then after those, the body maps, you have what your true identity is. And then you have what your spirit name is. Those 2 maps at the end make 8 maps for a 9-week program. It's a lifetime membership for you to repeat in the future. So check that out. That's the Soul Quest program on my website. Let me just get you the, and that, like I said, it starts up again in June, but you can enroll at any time thereafter. The whole system is meant to, people come in when they're ready. And it's just a cycling through of a group of people at different stages of the maps, which is going to be really, really cool and really enriching for everybody. So let me and I do take payments on this well past the 8 weeks. I take payments for this and we'll work with you if you're interested in doing this really amazing program. And again, it starts in June, the beginning of June, and you can start anytime. So if you're interested in this, if you want to have a consultation about this, or my Unstoppable Empath group, or I have my Awakening Empath group as well, totally different. All of these groups and all these programs are meant to fit together however you're guided to participate. If you are interested, lovelies, at any time, reach out. If you're meant to work with me, you will in one capacity or another. Otherwise, I invite you to join me every single week here for the We Are Healing Life podcast. In the future, I'm going to be having different guests. Like I said, if you want to be a guest to share your story of your healing journey, or if you're a healer, again, if you want to talk about what you do to help people and how you do it, and tell stories of how you've helped other people, I want to showcase you, I want to lift you up, I want to share you with the world, and really celebrate these wonderful experiences. And if you've been through a transformational experience with yourself, with your guides and guardians, or with somebody else, I'd love to hear from you. There is the form to fill out in the description of this podcast, I believe, and or it's also on the Facebook page. But all of these links are in the description here for you to be part of this show in the future. And with that said, I guess we're going to go, since there's no more questions and we've gone through everything. I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your Friday or Saturday and weekend. Look up for you, those of you, especially in Canada and Europe, this whole weekend. There's auroras in Italy and that I posted earlier, and all the way down there saying to Alabama might see auroras. I'm in Northern California. It would be amazing if we could see them here. But I hope that you're taking in the magic and the light and all of these light codes energies. Check out my feed on Facebook for the most up-to-date channelings. I posted one early this morning. So if you missed that, it was a channeling about today. And then I just posted something a little bit earlier about the Fae. The Fae have been coming through quite strongly. I just posted about that. They put out a bulletin. We're going to be connecting with people who qualify. The Fae are very funny. Let's see here. I am in North Cali too. You are? Where are you? I'm just outside of Redding. I hope we can see them. I'm hoping. I know. Me too. It'd be amazing. Thank you. I will tap into your links. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Well, I guess that's it, everybody. Thank you so much. You're in Sacramento. Okay. I'm up higher than you. I'm about 3 hours high up. Ian, thank you so much. I look forward to replying to your email as well. Sweet. I look forward to hearing from you, love. And Chris, North Cali has a pretty good chance. Fingers crossed for you guys. Thank you. I know it is a possibility. And I live out in the boony boondocks in the mountains where there's very little light pollution here. I see the stars so clearly. And it's, what are we? Where are we at in the cycle? We're still just past new moon. We don't have that much illumination moon wise, do we? Where are we at? 10%, 11%. So that's cool. And the skies are clear. So I do hope for that. Oh, thank you so much, Michelle. Thank you everybody for being here. And Michelle, if you're gonna get Michelle's in whatever. You're in Canada. All of Canada is lit up as a hot zone for auroras. It's just amazing what's going on right now. Super duper awesome energies, everybody. I hope you're bringing them in. Again, if you've missed my bulletins over the last 4 or 5 days, please go back in my feed in Facebook and take all that in so you can ride these waves as aware and with your open heart as possible. All right, guys. Mwah! I'll see you all later. Have a wonderful rest of your night.